claw marks in the outside toes.
This side.
Oh! Just don't get me.
Walk on. Here we go.
Let's check. I'll let you go first. Jump up and down and see.
Sometimes. Oh look, it's right there on the corner.
Oh my gosh. Who's brave enough to count coup? You'll have to go. Be careful, careful.
Seems like back up really quickly.
Just don't get near his tail.
Yeah. See the bear's Don't try to touch his tail because he'll flick that out. There's some big quills there. Let's just see what he does if I do this.
Oh.
Just
Watch your hand there.
see, he doesn't.
Okay.
He doesn't really. Oh, it's stuck in my quill. I think it's just how they are, but I don't know.
I broke the quill. Maybe it's hollow.
The tree's bark grows into it. It grows out more. The tree's bark grows in.
Oh, wow.
Like, there must be periods of fast growth and slow growth because. Do you see that?
Huge!
There could be one living here.
This side.
Oh!
Too much spin.
All the way down to the end of the tree, if possible.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that looks good.
We have lots of dry wood.
I think I could make my door out of another one of those bundles. So I just need something, once I crawl in there, I can grab it with my arms and pull it over me to seal this gap. If I was a squirrel or something, or a mouse, I'd just see that. I'd be like, I can crawl into that and spend the night there. And that's the coziest thing I've ever seen.
And basically, you've made a little entrance right here.
Yeah. Well, once I crawl in, I'm going to take all this grass that's sitting loose on top, bundle it up, and pull it over on top of me.
I get it. So that's not actually part of your upper insulation right now. That's going to be
Yeah,
incorporated.
that's just kind of sitting there at the moment.
Okay.
Hello world, I'm still here. We're right now in one of my favorite places on the property. This is a black spruce swamp. And at least this time of year, it's one of the places where you can really just go anywhere. It's not tangled with undergrowth and it's very flat. All the water in the swamp is frozen and the snow is even melted in a lot of places. So you can just walk across this layer of ice and look down and see frozen moss, frozen sphagnum moss under the ice, like little mini ecosystems. Came out here yesterday and spent a couple of hours looking for the other secret treasure of the swamp. Occasionally, if you look hard enough, you'll find a few leftover cranberries from all the way from last fall. Cranberries, frozen cranberries are delicious and they're worth searching for. The other thing I search for out here is deer antlers because this is the season that they're shedding them right now and this is deer country. There's not a whole lot over by where I live, but I've seen lots of deer sign over in the swamp, and I'm hoping that someday I'll come across a pair of antlers just freshly shed on the moss. But that brings me to an interesting realization I had yesterday. Cranberry hunting, and particularly antler hunting, can be pretty frustrating business, because you wander around for sometimes like 10 or 15 minutes, not a single cranberry. I haven't found any deer antlers yet, and I've been looking for hours and hours. And so it's easy to get frustrated when you have this aim that you're searching for, and it goes unrealized. You can't find the object that you're looking for. But what's not frustrating is walking in the woods and looking at the ground and looking at all the plants on the ground, and how each individual mound of sphagnum moss has hundreds of different shades of green on it, and how it looks when the sunlight is shining off of the dark green leaves. And then when you do find that little cranberry after your 10 minutes of searching, it's like, whoa, an extra gift. This little jewel of the forest, this ornament that's been waiting for me here for 3 months in the snow. And so it doesn't become looking for cranberries, it becomes enjoying the woods and finding cranberries while you're doing that. And so hopefully I'll find some deer antlers while I'm doing that. I did find a deer skull, and I mounted it on a stump, and it's overlooking the swamp as a sentinel of the haunted forest. Spring is coming soon, I think, and I'm pretty glad of it. February was kind of a tough month for me mentally. I think winter here is just too long. I like winter. I like all the snow and the tracks and the cold air, but I think it's about 2 months too long here in northern Wisconsin. And that's kind of the problem I was having in February. Like, I'm just a little bit tired of going outside and looking at ice and then coming back inside, because there's not that much else you can do unless you want to dig around and get your fingers frozen off in the snow. But there are two things that I noticed really help you out if you get into at least they helped me when I got into those mental states where I don't want to be through the rest of this day, you know. The first of those things is just walking. And I think if you just walk long enough, it's very, very hard to stay depressed and to continue to have those negative feelings. It's a very soothing practice. I remember that, I think I heard somewhere that Hippocrates prescribed walking to sufferers of depression before he would prescribe any other drug or ailment or cure. Just because it's so beneficial. Like, I think it was Thoreau said that he didn't feel right unless he walked for 4 hours every day. So walking is pretty powerful, and I do a lot of it here. The other thing that has helped me is building a fire. And that's one of the reasons February was so difficult for me, is that I was disconnected mostly from those campfires that I used to make. I mean, I used to make campfires 1 or 2 times a day, every single day, and that just gives you, something hot and cheerful and smells nice, and you can look at it for a couple of hours, cook your food on it. It just gives you something to focus on. It really brightens my mood a lot when I have a campfire. And so I'm really excited about being able to do that more as the weather warms up. But even building a fire when it's cold out, I would do that occasionally. Having a campfire sitting on top of the snow, that's a pretty cool thing. I also didn't feel super happy in February about my food situation. Basically, starting last week, I am on a much more restricted diet than I have been before, and it's a very healthy diet, and I'm glad I'm eating it, but it can be difficult mentally to not have those things that we're used to eating every day, sandwiches and stuff. And so this very restricted diet I'm on lasts for 2 weeks, but then after that, the entire rest of this program that I'm on is going to be more restricted than I have been eating. And so even though I'd done the 2-week period before, back in February, because at the end of my 2-week period I can't just go back to buying whatever I want, it kind of felt like I'm facing a food Armageddon here at the end of February. Like, oh my gosh, after this week it's the end of the world. I'm not going to be able to buy all this bread and bacon and cookies that I've been enjoying. I've got to eat them all right in this week. And that was kind of difficult. Basically, I felt like I wasn't going to enjoy food ever again for the next 4 months. But it doesn't seem that way. At the beginning of March here, Kenton bought me all my food supplies for the week, and that included a wide variety of vegetables. I'm not used to getting a wide variety of vegetables at the beginning of the week. And I started to realize all the things that you can do with that and come up with new recipes. And the more I eat vegetables, like, the more I enjoy vegetables. Like, yesterday was kind of a milestone for me. I actually had my first ever vegetable craving. I've never had one of those before, but I just was walking along and I thought, man, I could really go for some fried green pepper with onions right now. And it wasn't like I wanted them on a hot dog. I just wanted fried green pepper and onions by themselves. And that seems like a pretty cool achievement for me. Last time I did the 2-week diet, I mean, I had cravings through the roof. I was like, every other minute I was like, oh, I want a grilled cheese sandwich right now. Because basically, can't eat bread, can't eat cheese, can't eat bacon, and definitely no sugar. But I guess maybe doing it before has helped me out. Now that I'm on this 2-week diet again, it's a lot easier for me. I don't miss meat at all, like not even a little bit, which is nice. You can get a lot of satisfaction out of just foods like beans and quinoa, and that's not really something I'd realized before, but it's kind of liberating for me, because I do feel like we eat way too much meat in America, and I am able to move in that direction. So that's nice to know. I also got rid of my watch, got rid of my phone, which has a clock on it. Don't have any way of telling time anymore but the sun, and I don't care. I don't need time. Like before, it's interesting. I would have this urge to know what time it was, basically. And so I would go over to my watch, look at my watch, find out what time it was, and satisfy that urge. But as I did that, I noticed I don't actually feel any happier since I've looked at my watch than I did before. So what was that doing for me? There's really, like, once you can free yourself of that desire to know what time it is, it's a lot more, it's just one less thing that you need in life, and it's kind of easier on the mind to not be following a clock all the time, so I kind of like it. And I still have the sun to keep track of when I need to be making dinner and stuff. Sun's setting right now. I should probably go.